So today I'm going to actually go over one app and one website that I use consistently in my teaching. The app is Explain Everything, and I'm actually giving this presentation within the app, and we'll go over the features of it and whatnot today. And so you'll know if you're looking for it on the App Store, you're looking for Explain Everything, this is the icon. It's really easy to find. Just type in Explain Everything, and there it is. The other is Wikispaces. Some of you are familiar with that, and I'll talk about how I utilize it in the classroom. And that's just a free website that we can use, and we'll go over the features of that as well. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Just so you know, this is Explain Everything. Once you have the app and you open it up, you pretty much have a dashboard of different PowerPoints, videos, worksheets that you have. And the beauty of it is, you know, you have all the information when you put it up. If you have, because you are able to audio record over them, or if it's a video, it'll give you the length so you can start to plan, you know, how much time I have to do, what I can manipulate. And the great thing about Explain Everything for me is that while we all have, you know, smart boards and projectors and we can put all this stuff up, what happens is when we give information to the students, a lot of times the minute the class is over and the bell rings, it's gone. It's just out there. And so Explain Everything for me became a tool where I can revisit anything that I gave the students and actually allow them to revisit it later on. So for instance, in a very meta way, this whole presentation I'm recording on Explain Everything. So for, say for instance, Julie and Jane, who are at a retreat today, they'll be able to come back, go to our teacher's lounge, and if they wanted to, see the entire presentation in its entirety and revisit that, or even if we wanted to go back and say, wait, how do we do that one thing? So that's all here. So we see our dashboard, and you know, we can do a lot of different things with it. We can manipulate our video, how we order these things. But more importantly, just creating a new new project is as easy as adding up here. And you can either add from scratch, where you start with a blank template, or you can add from a media. So say for instance here, if you notice, if I click on that, open that up, it takes me straight to my camera roll, but down here I can go anywhere from iTunes to Dropbox. If I use Evernote or Google Drive, it's all right there. So I can take media from anywhere and begin my project from there. And so it becomes kind of this, again, consolidated one-stop shop where I can get to all my media and begin. So that's just how to start it, how to get on, how to make something happen. But then my template, and forgive me when I was looking at this and I was looking at the video once I transfer it, I didn't see this. So I wanted to put a second layer on there so when you see the video, you'll actually see the menu, because you won't later on if you go back. So you'll notice the double, that's not a feature. I actually took a screenshot of this and overlaid it so we can know what we're talking about here. So this is your blank canvas. You can pretty much do anything you want here. Particularly if you look on your left side over here, you'll be able to see all the different things you can do. You can add a slide, and here's where I'm going to get fancy with it. So over here, you see we can add a slide, we can draw, we can add shapes, we can add text, we can also add media here. We can actually embed anything from a video to a website, to an actual working website that we can manipulate. So say for instance, there's a website you want your kids to know. You can put the website in here and actually, you know, click on the different menus, explore the site, and it's all up here and it's all being recorded. So later on they can take a look at it. Obviously you can get rid of things. You can highlight it or point to, as I'm doing. You can lock things in. So if you don't want them to move, if you want them to stay static, you can do that as well. And you can add, you know, just your different color texts. You can zoom in on things. And you can also undo. So it's pretty user-friendly. It's just kind of our quick icons to do that. And if you notice here, down here, you know, we have the number of slides we're going to be dealing with. We can record, and we can pause recording at any time. A lot of times in our class, if I need to digress somewhere else that may not be important later on, but just might be a little side anecdote, I can pause it, I can keep talking, and then come back to it. And it starts without issue. So I wanted just to show you, say for instance, if I wanted to add some kind of media here. And so you can see it's real easy. It's just, do I want to use one of my existing photos, a file, say if I wanted to put up a rubric and go over a rubric with the kids, I can do that. If I wanted to, again, open this new browser, put a new picture, or even a new video, if I wanted to, and I've done this before, if there is something that I need the kids to know and I want to give them a real quick mini lesson, for homework I'll say on Edline will be a link to a video and I just need you to watch it. And it's just me, and it could be me as a talking head just kind of talking about what it is I need them to know, or I could be talking over a instructional sheet. And so they can go on and look at that as well. So it's kind of a place where I could even embed myself speaking to the kids at the same time. So just for instance, if I wanted to go to existing photo, here it is. It takes me to my camera roll. I have a lot of very random pictures, students getting to hold my iPad, whatnot. And say, for instance, I wanted to take this. I can crop it, I can rotate it, manipulate it however I want. Once I'm done, there it is. And it's here. And from here, you know, I can write next to it. Oops, excuse me. Oops. Oh, well, it's because it's white. So I can put blue. And, you know, I can circle something, whatnot. And if I want, I can just go ahead and erase that. And so it's extremely intuitive and user-friendly. And again, I think the real value in this is, one, it consolidates everything, so it's this one-stop shop to highlight, point out, and bring different medias in. And at the same time, it makes it easier for me when it comes time. If, say, for instance, because what happens, I give a lecture, test time comes around, students are always asking, hey, what was that thing you said 2 weeks ago about that one topic? I can say, the lecture's on Edline. Go ahead and take a look at it. Yeah. And so it saves me a lot of time on the back end when it comes time for, you know, having those study sessions and whatnot. So that's pretty much it. And when we're done, if you notice, down here we have these 4 little icons. And, you know, one is to save, obviously. But then we have this interesting one, and I'll just click it real quick. And one's an export movie. So once I'm done recording, I can just export this directly. And so I have a YouTube account. And so with my YouTube account, it's linked into this. I just click that. It pops up a little menu that has me title it. And then I say publish. And then it's on YouTube. And it gives me the link to YouTube. So all I have to do is cut and paste that to Edline. Here's the link.
So this is a video, and you're like recording as like, are you speaking?
Absolutely. You just made it. You just made a guest appearance on our video today, Walter. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that was Walter. Yay! And the kids do that actually, and that's what's cool. It becomes this thing that they become a part of. So when we have class discussions and they raise their hand, they ask a question, and I say yes, go for it. I say great idea, yeah. And so when they listen to it later, they say, oh yeah, that was me. I said that, you know. Or,
it's only listening then. They're not going to see it.
They're not going to see it, no. So they don't have to worry about what their hair looks like or anything like that. This is just audio, and I know even that scares us because I hate to hear my voice. So, but nevertheless, here it is. and
so are we gonna listen to my beautiful voice?
Exactly.
Cool.
So Walter becomes part of the presentation, and it's all there. Yes.
So do you pre-record every lecture, or are you recording it as you're doing it?
I actually record it as I'm doing it. What I do is I create, say, my keynotes or my PowerPoints, and I don't lecture every day. It's just, say, for instance, if I'm introducing a unit or a genre or whatnot, I'll put my PowerPoint together and I'll start presenting. And as I'm presenting, boom, the record button hits. And they know they're being recorded. So now it just takes it to another level. It's like, what am I going to say? How am I going to act? This is here forever. Let me make sure I'm asking appropriate questions. Or if I want to, say, hey, Mom, I could do that. Okay, yeah, great. Let's get that out the way. But, so I'm recording as I'm going. And so on my dashboard, you'll see that there's double of everything, but it's just period A and period D. So I can personalize it to, which class said what. So in case I'm running behind on one
Right.
class. So you can customize it that way. And also what I did last year a lot is as we started to go, what I realized is one class was having this great discussion and they were making these great points, and it was lacking in the other class. So the video that I put up on Edline was that one class that was bringing all these great ideas. And so everybody got to share. And so it's not one of these things where, oh wow, my period A, they really say great
Other
things.
periods can see what
Exactly.
was good in that moment.
Right, what the level is that's going on.
Is it possible to do the audio first, and then go back and enter slides? So what we're trying to do is our family talks
Mhm.
is podcast. I guess podcasting is out of date, but record the conversations and meetings, and we wanted to upload it to Edline for the international parents that can't attend.
Right.
But I'd like to coordinate that with the handouts.
Yeah, I've personally never done that. I'm sure there's a way. There's actually, the great thing about this site is that there's tutorials that you can watch and see, how can I do this, how can I add that. It seems like it's pretty intuitive in that way that I can, if I have slides recorded, I can keep the audio there, and I can bring in new things as well. So it probably does work that way as well. Yeah. So any other questions about Explain Everything? No? Yes?
So I can open a PowerPoint within the app?
Yes.
And it just comes up like a regular PowerPoint?
Right, it comes up like a regular PowerPoint, it divides it by slides. Also, if say for instance, the one thing it won't do is it won't bring in your builds. So it'll just bring the slides in, almost like PDF form.
All right.
So you have to consider that when you're building it, that if there's something you want to bring in afterwards, you just create a separate slide as opposed to making it a build within the slide. All right? Any questions? No? Yes? Jimmy?
Is this saved to your iPad, or is it?
It is.
You have to have the Wi-Fi, so it's.
It's saved to you, yeah, it's
stores
saved.
all of it.
Right. So you could actually not be on. You can record something, say, at home when you're not on, the cloud or the school, network, and it'll still be here. It's saved here. Okay. Yes.
So this is like a whiteboard app.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just like it because it's one of the few that I've found that are directly linked to, say, for instance, if I put all my forms on Dropbox, I can actually access my Dropbox from the app. If I want to convert something to a video and put it on YouTube, it's just one click, it goes to YouTube. So there are many apps like this out there, it's just that this one tends to be a little more interwoven with some of the other programs that I use.
So when you said you have an account with YouTube, an account with your lectures on it for yourself that other students can access?
Right. I decide which videos I want to make public or private. So I make my public videos on the lectures.
Got it.
And so, I have the URL, I link it to Edline, and they can go on and just
Okay.
click. Okay. Good. Well, let's, now that we're done with that, we
Can you show
can-
us one of your YouTube videos of lectures?
I can.
Could you do that?
Voice,
I'm sorry?
can you export it?
Can export?
No,
Can I
it takes
export
too
this
much
one?
time, yeah.
It takes time, yeah, it does
Okay.
take a little bit of time, but it is good. What I could do, actually, let me pause this here. We're back on record, we're back and to Wikispaces. And so here we are, we're still in Explain Everything. We have a web browser live working in the Explain Everything app, but we're here for Wikispaces. And Wikispaces, while there is an educational licensing you can get, you don't need it and it costs, whereas just using it is free. And there's no actual difference between the education version and just the regular Wikispaces that we use. So this is what it looks like. It's really plain, doesn't seem like much. But I'm gonna go ahead and sign in here. Oops. Okay, so it's gonna load. All right, and so we're here. Don't worry, I did that yesterday, but it'll get there. There we are. All right. Oops. So this is where you would create your account, but I'm going to give you access to my super secret login. Oops. I don't know why I did that. Okay. All right. So Wikispaces, now I'm logged in, and what it is, it's exactly what it sounds like. If you ever go to Wiki Pages, it's just a kind of this huge hodgepodge of information that people contribute to. So it's like this community. I found this one because it was a lot easier to use, and you can make it where just groups are looking at it. So what I do is whenever we engage in a novel, I create a wiki page for the class for that novel. And so let me give you an example. I'm going to go to my dashboard here. And so my dashboard, when you see it, sorry, it should take just a sec. There we go. And so if you see, we have, and these are even from last year, we have wiki pages for my different periods. And so we see VPS, Huck Finn, period D, right? And so all through, each class gets a page for themselves for a novel. And so I'll just click on any of them. I know period D's Huck Finn was pretty substantial. So when you make this, the beauty of it is that you can invite people. So there's a day where I say, all right, everybody come up and just type your email address in here, and you're going to become a member of the wiki page. And so they have to create an account, but now they have access to this. And so they can contribute whatever they'd like. And I actually grade them on this because there is a way where you can track what they're adding. The beauty of it is, though, when they add, only I can see who did it. So they're aware that I'm keeping track of this. However, they can't criticize one another and say, wow, I can't believe you put that idea up there because that was really dumb. They have no idea. It's just up there. And so if we go through the page, and you can do anything, and so it becomes this kind of, ground control for everything that we need to have for the text. And you can do this with anything, whether it's a chapter in a book, whether it is a novel or whatnot. So here, for instance, and this was a complete blank page prior to us beginning. Somebody put links to character analysis. Somebody put the audiobook up. Somebody put a modern translation. Actually, somebody put the Chinese version so that they can have access to it. And then they started to write ideas and synopsis. And if we go through, what I did is I started assigning chapter summaries. But before I did that, people started just, Blackman and Mark Twain's opinion, Friday's discussion, use of realism. And so we're going through, and these are their ideas. They give me Huck Finn. Somebody put a Banksy image up there that they thought was really cool. And so it becomes this place that's just theirs. I do not in any way contribute or manipulate. If I need a student to change something for any reason, I'll go to that student and say, hey, look, you put this on. I don't know if this is really appropriate. Can you please take it off? And they will. I can, if I need to. I can change anything. I can delete. I can add. But for the most part, what I'd like to do is stay hands-off. And then this becomes the guide for our class discussions. So if we go down, we start to get into these, we start to get into the chapter summaries, where somebody will give a chapter summary, and every now and then, we'll use this in class to promote our discussion. So we'll say, okay, here's what happened. Somebody please read this for me. okay, what do we think? What's going on? How does this fit into the whole novel? And we'll have these discussions, and every now and then, somebody will write, oh, well, this relates to our theme of abuse. Or someone will add a question. And from that question, maybe somebody else will answer it. And so then it becomes this kind of interactive space. And I know some of us use blogs, blogs or threads of discussion, and those tend to be links that you have to click on to see people's comments. Whereas here, everything's just there, and it's there to see. There's no, oh, I just want to look at this person's entry, or I just want to look at the last entry. Well, if you want to get to it, you have to go through all this. And so let me show you, just so that you see, if I go to recent changes down here. Excuse me. This will come up in a sec. Okay, and so here, it's this beautiful thing where it separates it by date, and it gives you the name of the user that added the comment. So this is from last year. And here's Miles Dalmora, there's Keola Ramirez. Tells you what time they posted, and you can click on any of them. Let's see here. And it'll give you a detail of what they added. And if they deleted, it'll tell you what they deleted, even if it's just a word. And so it's all kind of right here. And so you can manage it. And so then you have these discussions in class, but really, your only obligation to making sure that they're contributing is taking a look, seeing what they're doing. So you're managing the site now. So it consolidates all of it. Instead of saying, give me a one-page response or give me a paragraph on what you thought of Chapter 9, you could say, all right, I want everyone to contribute something to Chapter 7. Give me, a sentence that we're going to use for discussion tomorrow. And so you'll have that. And so you can play with it and do whatever you want with it, but then again, it becomes this one place, again, one-stop shop, where you bring everything together.
But only you can see that.
Only I see this, yes. And they know this right off the bat. I say, look, I can see everything you're doing. You don't know who's doing what, but I do. Because I've set myself as the administrator of this. And everyone else is just a member. And so you set that up immediately, you have that. And then you have this nice thing. So say, for instance, I was giving participation points every week, and all I had to do was type in the dates for that week, and it would just show me only the entries for that week. And I'd say, oh, okay, there's Miles, there's Justin, there's, so on and so forth. And so it became this place where I knew where everyone was contributing. And so going back to the wiki home, and we're back. And it's really that easy. The one downside with this is you really don't want to do it in a computer lab, because the site really it doesn't allow for 15 people on it at once editing at the same time, because then they just end up editing over one another. So you want to say, okay, for homework tonight, go on the wiki and contribute, or at some point this week, that's how I was using it, contribute to the wiki. And you very rarely had conflict. Brian?
I'm trying to understand how, in the Explain Everything app, how do you upload the browser into it so you can actually...
Okay, good question. Right here where we go add, if I wanted to add, it's new browser. And then it pops up and you can manipulate it and all the links work and everything. Okay? So that's Wikispaces. Any questions on that? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. How do you get students to join it? I mean, you create your own wiki account. And you don't have to use this app, right? You could just go to Wikispaces.
No, yeah, just go to Wikispaces, do that.
Yeah.
And so say, for instance, let's see here, if I wanted to go to... Sorry. I think because I'm not. Yeah, there we go. So here, if I go to members, sorry, it gives me a list of everybody who's in, but then also I can send invitations as well. And so it says invite people. I can just click on that, and it'll allow me to send an email.
And they create their accounts, you don't have to give them
Right,
their
they create
password
their
or anything.
accounts, and once I send them an email, they're a member. They have access. That's it. And they only have access as members, not as administrators.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, well, hopefully I didn't, go too far over. But just know that, again, these are the two apps that I kind of lean on heavily. And now that it's paused,